What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong. I have no idea how long this game is going to be, but we've made it pretty far during our time here. I'm going to go to the mission computer. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of a conversation and figure, oh man, I got to read my unread messages. Bad things are going to happen. You submit the job as finished and await the response. Yeah, I knew I was going to get in trouble for this. I asked you to solve a problem, and your method of solving it is to kill the people I was doing a favor for? I have half a mind to throw you in the goddamn bay. Still, the Wampoans are now more afraid of me than ever, and the money started flowing again, so I suppose that's something. I've attached your payment. The Wampoans made it explicitly clear that they wouldn't have paid at all, except to ensure that you never come back to the gardens. Next time, try not to fuck up the job so much. I may not try to... I knew I was going to get some fallout. But we got a samurai zombie, dude. Like, if you can't make some sacrifices for a samurai zombie, what can you make sacrifices for? Obviously, I would have liked to have had my cake and eat it too. Get the samurai zombie and get paid for the job. But it was like 2 hours of just reading dialogue with people, and I needed more action, and I need to get through it right this second. What active jobs are available? We have the party, the restaurant job. Let's view pending here. Oh, I haven't gone through my messages. Hold on. I also sold some data, I think. Yeah, on the Ares research. Oh, almost 1,000 new yen on that one. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's what I like to see. Okay, so I'm feeling better about that. That's the first data we've sold that was actually, like, worth the effort. Considering how nasty that matrix system was, though, like, I would hope we get paid off a little bit. New messages. So, from Bao Jianjun. We have a problem to solve and it's urgent. Meet me at the Mahjong parlor. Kindly's orders. Strangler Bao. I'm not in Hiyoi right now, so don't bother coming to see me. We'll talk when I return. Please continue with our business ventures in the meantime. Okay. I hope you're enjoying your newfound success in the shadows, and I've got another job for you, one that should prove very lucrative indeed. I've been contacted by an employee of the Eastern Tiger Corporation. He needs you to steal some research data and biological samples from his employer. The man's name is Tegath Wright, and until recently he was a researcher on a genetic engineering project. He was cagey with the details, but I gather it centered around phenotypic alteration and postnatal genetic enhancement. Unfortunately for Wright, he's got a conscience. Stupid man. Luckily for us, he's willing to pay to have his conscience assuaged. Wright's project was apparently quite horrible. Experiments on living children, total disregard for biomedical ethics or safety, and when Wright raised concerns, he was taken off the project. He's decided to step outside the bounds of the law and expose their wrongdoing to the world. The snag, you see, is that his wife and child live in Seoul. Not quite the heart of Eastern Tiger's power, but close enough. He's afraid that if he releases the information himself, they'll be taken prisoner and used as leverage. The idiot should have thought of that before, but it's not our problem. The samples and data are currently on an Eastern Tiger cargo ship, the MV Naochi, sailing near Hong Kong on their way to Seoul. The storm slowed the ship down, so you don't have to go right away, but don't take too long. Once you have the data and samples, you're to call Wright. I've attached his number. He'll give you instructions on how he wants the information leaked. When you're ready, let me know. I'll arrange a transit with Captain Jomo. He's the local Loho Jowa pirate and smuggler, but don't let that put you off. He's as good as they get, and he'll have you on that ship without incident. Yeah, I'll take it. Alright, I've let Jomo know you're ready. You can let him, or you can find him down at the end of the pier. My parlor is on. He'll handle everything from here on out. Okay, sounds good. Let's walk away for a minute. I don't know if I have enough money for a smart gun attachment, do I? No, $2 grand, it's not enough. I wanted to get a smart gun right now. I was going to get a assault rifle with a smart gun attachment next, so that my characters stay consistent, but it doesn't look like something that's going to be manageable long term. I'm down a little bit of cash right now. This little dude over here was expensive, but I was glad to see that he actually hits for damage in combat. Unlike our last drone, which critted for 4 on a good attack, so whatever. Gene, what you got going on? Look who's back. Why don't you go egg a car or something and leave us alone? Oh, okay, so we got the same dialogue again. That's cool. That's cool. So it's down here on the bottom left. I had that thing happen to me last night where you have a song stuck in your head and so you can't sleep. Oh, I hate that so much. Why does that happen? Why is that a thing that happens to human beings where we get a song stuck in our head? And does it keep you from sleeping? It totally keeps me from sleeping. Every time that happens, and I know it happens too, it's a different type. The song replays in your head differently when it's stuck in there. Oh, man, we got to talk to Maximum Law too, and he's a Wampoan. Shit. Okay, so I've got metadata for you. Never mind, it doesn't work like that. What kind of tech you got going on? You got anything sexy and shiny for me? I don't really want decrypt right now because it sucks a giant cow. I think that... What do I have? What programs do I already have? I have... Let's see here. I have boost, blaster, killer, killjoy, suppression. Does he have suppression 2 or anything like that? Nah, doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, gotta do what you gotta do. Let's jump up and out of here. I think... Let's do... We can either kidnap what's-his-name, or we can do the boat. But those are the next 2 quests I'm going to do, because after the text-heavy one, I kind of just want to get in there and do stuff, you know what I mean? Get work done. So let's not take too long on it, but I'm going to do the kidnapping mission first, I think. Yeah, I think Shangri-La is going to be the next one that I do. We'll take him first, and then after that, we'll go to the boat. The boat sounds like a lot of fun, and I've always liked boat levels ever since GoldenEye. But let's go get low. We're going to take Gai Chu, Duncan, and the Shaman. We should be good from there. What kind of gear are you looking at, Jaume? He's got 5 armor on that thing. He's also got a hand-forged katana. I need to get him a better weapon and swap it in. I need to get everybody better weapons, but honestly, cash is pretty tight in this game. I don't find myself with a lot of discretionary income most of the time, so it can be a little bit odd. What are you bringing along, Duncan? Where's that flash bomb? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so he's got the flash bomb now. I think we'll just go in. I'm sure things will turn out okay. To the Shangri-La restaurant, not to be confused with the Shang-Gorilla restaurant. The gorilla restaurant, it's questionable. They find a lot of gorillas and they grill them up, but if you've never had gorilla steaks, you should treat yourself. A tangle of marine decorum, restless nights and ambrosial scents mingle atop a floating quay to accent the Shangri-La, Aberdeen Harbor's premier dining location. The competitive views of the surrounding bay, the restaurant attracts a seedy crowd, or a steady crowd of tourists and Wuxing personnel. The primary money man for the 289's, Chung Sing Rooster Low, is enjoying a rare meal outside of a triad-held territory. Intel says that he's set up in one of the restaurant's private dining rooms, but he's not alone. He keeps a personal bodyguard, a notorious orc called the Talon, in addition to his regular security detail. You've seen photos of the Talon's handiwork, bodies so battered it's hard to tell where one bruise ends and the next one begins. Your mission, locate Rooster and extract him from the Shangri-La and deliver him to your client alive. Simple, fast, and low profile. Of course, even the simplest runs can go sideways. Yep, ain't no such thing as a milk run. Ain't no such thing as a milk run. So it looks like some of this is actually locked, like I can't... Okay, but you can give them extra gear that they can swap into, which seems like it might be a tempting idea. Ah, well. Oh, yeah, I did want to use my karma. Let's use my karma real fast. I forgot that I had like 12 of it laying around. I got serious karma hanging out here. Let's see. That'll give me drone control 2. That'll get me to Class S. What do these ones do for me? 10% accuracy's right there, but that's pretty far down the chain. We could get into a Fairlight Excalibur right now if we really... No, we couldn't. Never mind. We can get into Intelligence 7, then we could go Decking 6, then we could go Fairlight Excalibur, and then we'd be good. But that's about as far as in we would have to. We'd have to go in pretty far to get that done. I was thinking about doing... I wanted Cyberware Affinity too, so that we could do like random... I don't really want hand razors or anything like that. I don't want weapons, but I want like random things that I can put on my body, like dermal plating and shit like that, because we get shot at a lot. And when you get shot at a lot, you tend to make considerations for avoiding long-term damage. Got Mark Target 3. Really bums me out that I gotta take some of those on the way to get to the stuff that I want. I'll probably focus on decking, I guess. We'll go in 7 on that one. And that gets us to the Fairlight Excalibur, which is pretty sick. I'll probably save... What else can I afford here? Could go in on a little more ranged combat, I guess. Gives us Overwatch, which is pretty sick. Or we could go like all out on this over here and get ourselves to Cyberware Affinity. Before I spend the points, though, I want to make sure that I'm getting stuff out of it that I want. Stepping into the interior hallway of the Shangri-La, you're confronted by a massive wall of troll, the restaurant's front door security. He speaks with surprising elocution. Well, who's the racist now? Just because he's a troll, he can't elocute properly? See? It's the problem with the future world. Welcome to the Shangri-La. We strive to provide our patrons with an exquisite dining experience. If you have any questions or require special accommodations, don't hesitate to speak with our staff. I think looks like I've got my pick of tables. I'm sorry, but this is not a seat-yourself establishment. If you'd like to choose where you sit, I suggest you make a reservation for one of the private rooms upstairs. He looks you up and down and frowns. Please keep in mind that any disturbances will be promptly de-escalated by our security. We reserve the right to bar service to unruly patrons. Thank you. Enjoy your meal. Notice your security. I don't see any guards. With a puff of his chest and a shake of his shoulders, the troll assumes a more aggressive posture. His face remains a mask of neutrality despite the obvious irritation in his voice. Wu Jing prides itself on having world-class security personnel. You would do well to remember that the best kind of security is often hidden from sight. Under her breath, pretty hard not to see that guy. Alright, so now that he's up and out of the way. Got a waitress on this side. A waitress swamped with orders is caught unaware by your approach. Welcome to the Shangri-La, sir. Our hostess will seat you as soon as she gets back. You're welcome to wait in the lounge. This'll only take a second. A loud exhalation escapes through her nose and her eyes dart towards the kitchen. She musters an empty smile and nods in false hospitality. Absolutely, sir. What is it that you need? I'm looking for a Mr. Lowe. He has a reservation here tonight. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that name. Man, I don't have enough charisma to get anything done then. Alright then, you know anybody who might have seen him? The upstairs servers, maybe. They have to come down here to access the kitchen, so you may be able to find one of them in there. Wish I could help more, sir, but I need to place these orders. Enjoy your meal. She darts around you and hurriedly resumes her duties, leaving you no time to respond. Alright. This side of the restaurant, it looks like we got something going on over here. We can wait for our mark. Okay. Let me question around first. I want to make sure that I've talked to everybody before we get anything else done. A guard steps forward and raises his hand. Sorry, sir. This area is off limits. And why is that? This is the Wu Jing employee patio, reserved for Wu Jing customers and their guests. General public's not admitted. Why don't you head back to your table? There's ample seating in the main dining room. What if I ask nicely? Would you let me in then? A corner of the guard's mouth cracks into a weak smile. Sorry, but not even the mighty please and thank you will help you here. Okay, so we're out of luck on that side. Wouldn't they put the piano in the parlor over here so that people could hear it a little bit better? Because that's a solid wall. That would nerf the acoustics. The placement of the piano is odd. I worked in restaurants, so the piano's in a weird spot. I mean, I guess this is kind of the waiting room, but nobody's playing it. I would assume you'd put it, you know, over here so that drunk patrons could get tips and I don't know. Whatever. A well-dressed man sits alone at the bar, elbows propped up on the counter. His face is hard, eyes blank. He swirls the contents of his half-empty glass as if in a stupor. Between the swollen eyes and the whiskey double, it isn't hard to guess his mood. As you approach, he rose his temples and graces you with a lazy sideways glance and mumbles under his breath. Yeah, it's not like I can dig myself in any deeper. Rough day? Huh? He looks at you again through dull, bloodshot eyes, but his gaze drifts elsewhere before returning to his drink. Lost 2 contracts, missed a 3rd, late for a meeting, and publicly shamed by a coworker. All during the 9 to 5. New record. As far as I can tell. He takes a long pull from his glass and exhales. At least I got that going for me. Coworker sounds like an asshole. How'd you get shamed? Negligence. Coworker took 2 of my contracts while they were in renewal. I'd overlooked them for a day or 2, and damn, it was just a couple of days. He sighs and begins to sway. Whether it's involuntary or to calm himself is uncertain. His chair creaks loudly. Or his chair, I'm sorry, his hair. I was like, what is it, robo hair? He doesn't have any hair. Anyways, his chair squeaks loudly in protest. Anyways, he took my clients and made a fool of me. He's been rubbing it in ever since. How'd you lose the contracts? Wish I knew. One of them was almost a done deal, but for whatever reason, the client suddenly changed their tune and the contract slipped away before I could officially close it. The other 2 were ongoing clients, people I'd worked with for years, but I somehow forgot about their annual renewal date and a more diligent coworker picked them up. I no credit for the long-term partnership with the clients. If anything, I now look worse for losing them, even though I brought them into Wu Jing in the first place. He leans back and lets out a weary groan. His breath reeks of alcohol. Just who is this diligent coworker of yours? Him. He nods his head towards a group at the end of the bar, an outfit at center. David. He laughs bitterly to himself, the motion drawn out and sluggish. Props to him. And my clients, they talk real big about networking and all that, right? But they'd sell their own family to save a couple of new yen. And you know the strangest part? My clients have started ignoring me, even avoiding me, and when they do respond to my inquiries, they're curt and dismissive. It's almost as if I've offended them somehow, but I haven't done anything at all. His voice cracks in frustration. Something's not right here. Henry lifts his shoulders in an exaggerated shrug and lets out a low sigh. Maybe, maybe not. It's only an observation, but what do I know? I'm just rambling drunk. Let's go talk to this dick, David. Oh, man, I should have chose a different word. I don't like the alliteration there. Dick David sounds like, I don't know, some kind of compliment maybe. He's Dick David. David is all smiles. He just finished a joke to the uproarious laughter of his party. Hey, friend, trying to get in on the joviality? You're welcome to join us for the next round. His words bleed into each other. This isn't his first drink. What are we celebrating? My recent successes. Through some hard work and a little businessly persuasion, he looks at you knowingly. I sealed 2 contracts and a third is on the way. Huh. Well, here, the next round's on me. He beams. There's a real friend. Come on, let's drink. He slams back a shot and hoots with satisfaction. Much appreciated. Thank you, my good man. I'm going to try and get him liquored up and see if we can fix all this. So from one friend to another, how'd you bag all those contracts in one day? A fresh flush fills David's cheeks. He wobbles on the spot and grins at you. Wasn't too hard, truth be told. Somebody did most of the work for me. You see that poor sot down there? He gestures to Henry. We just upgraded our security at work. A few nights ago, that dude left behind a note containing his new password. Wrote it down and had some fun. Sent nasty messages to his clients and removed a couple of appointments from his schedule. He tosses his hands into the air, spilling his drink, and boom! Employee of the month. All I had to do was some damage control. But nah, that man's clients, they're now mine. Nicely done. Very clever, my friend. His cocky smile stretches across his all-too-proud face. I thought so, too. Thanks again for the drink. You have yourself a good night. Hey, Splattercat, these guys are right on the edge. Both blasted, one pissed off the other. Well, an asshole. One word and these guys will be throwing down. That happens loud enough. Security is bound to respond. Just a thought. Oh, I was just thinking about getting new yen and like some free stuff, but you know, whatever, that'll work. Can I go around here to the order computer? Will they get mad at me if I do this? An open program tracking food orders and the respective tables flickers steadily from the screen. AccuServe from Renraku, Shangri-La Restaurant. There's a manager's notice. Nothing but your typical wage slave directives in here. There are a few mentions of curtailing recreational activities in storage rooms and on outer decks. One can only infer the meaning of such activities. Further down, a note in red expressly warns that the special guest on floor 2 should be served by only approved wait staff, and if the guest's orders are botched again, there will be significant and widespread consequences for all servers involved. A list containing dozens of orders pops up. Only a handful are for the upper floor's private dining rooms. A second order stands out. Floor 2, private room 3, VIP party of 5. Did I say party of 5? Well, it could be a farty party. I don't know. Standard seafood buffet, wine sampler, crab rangoon, Shangri-La prawns, surf and turf. No prawns, avoid cross-contamination with shellfish. Diner is allergic. Okay. So the Talon, the guy we gotta watch out for, is allergic to shellfish. A menu pops up with options to view or place orders. Following the menu is a dining room chart that's been broken down into server zones. A large comp button in the upper right-hand corner has a lock icon over it. It seems people were being too liberal with free drinks. Unfortunately, it looks like you need a service code to place an order. Inside this file is a series of notes on guests and the restaurant's operations. You scroll through today's notes. Several servers have written about their concerns regarding tonight's lack of security, and a couple are frustrated with the curious guests wandering up to the second floor's private dining rooms. The rest is useless. Okay. So we need seafood in order to get rid of the Talon. Let's go ahead and have a talk with one of the cooks then. A hearty aroma of spices and sweat bombards your senses as the cooks move through the kitchen, scents churn in their wake. Some sharp, some sweet, some altogether unfamiliar, but all delicious. The chef barks an order to his assistant, searing fish, then whirls around muttering fervently to himself. He then stops short until he notices you standing in his kitchen. I told them I needed an extra server, not a hobo. Shoo! He gestures towards the door and begins tasting an array of sauces. Alright. So we need a server's outfit here. So do I wait for the target? Like, I wish I had a better description of what this does. Like, am I waiting for him to arrive, or is he already here? They placed their order, so I assume they're already here, right? Henry gazes into the tall drink in front of him. You came back. Listen, that David prick you mentioned? Turns out he broke into your work terminal and sent your client some nasty messages in your name, then he swooped in and stole them. A spark of sobriety washes over Henry. The dullness in his eyes drains away and he sits up alarmed. That explains why nobody would return my messages. With a grunt, he smashes his fist into the counter. He turns toward David and mutters through clenched teeth. He wants to play dirty? I can handle it. I can handle him. He jumps up and marches towards David. Yay! Fight! 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 Henry and David stand inches from one another, both men wearing the fiercest expressions they can muster. Their hatred is almost palpable. How their confrontation will play out is unclear, but one thing is certain. You have a great seat. Henry stabs a finger into David's chest and speaks in a low hiss. You stole my business, and I know it. You might have picked this fight, but I'm gonna win it. Fair and fucking square. I'm gonna show you how those with integrity operate, you cheat. David's mouth eases into a contented smirk. You want to lose face with me twice in one day? I'm happy to oblige, but not in here. I'll be damned if the Shangri-La bans me for thrashing a worthless crap stain like you on their property. Let's finish this outside. Now. Fine, but don't think this will give you any sort of advantage. It only means I won't have to hold back. Let's go. Oh, man. So they go out. There's now a diversion outside the restaurant. What were the other secondary things? We need to find a way to poison the Talon's food. Let's have a look around for meals that are left over that haven't been bussed or cleaned yet. Anything with a shrimp in it or anything with seafood, crab, whatever. You don't have to put much in. My dad's allergic to shellfish, so he can't have crab, he can't have, you know, shrimp or anything like that, or he basically has to go to the hospital and get one of those shot things to keep him from swelling up. He can't breathe. It happens, that's why he doesn't go to Red Lobster either anymore, is because they cook everything in the same spot, and so he can't order anything at, like, some places because they cook all the food together on the same skillet and the oils get on it, and it still makes him go crazy even though he only had, like, a burger or whatever. Still has to go to the hospital. Not a lot of options left aside from hanging out over here. Is he going to give me the same thing if I go back in here again? Let's find out. The chef peers at you over a mountain of oysters. No guests in the kitchen. Out. Sorry to intrude, but I need to speak with the head chef. He grabs a towel off a nearby rack and wipes his hands, grumbling to himself. I'm the head chef. I have little time to cook my food and even less for conversation. Well, it'd be in your best interest to answer them. I mean, how do I best put this? I'm not going to do that one. That pisses me off. That's a pet peeve for me when people are like, do you know who I am? I'm like, no, should I? Does your legend extend that far, oh wondrous master? Hey, this will only take a minute. Let's make it quick. I got 60 seconds before I have to pull these prawns out of the boiler. I'm looking for somebody in the restaurant. He's likely one of the private dining rooms. Well, never mind. I'm told one of tonight's guests has a shellfish allergy. A less than mild-mannered orc. Sound familiar? That's a polite way to put it. Gave 2 of my cook's broken ribs and a mashing set of black eyes last time he stormed my kitchen. Yeah, I know that orc. Got a shellfish allergy he's overly keen on hounding us about. As though he doesn't top the... that wasn't the top seafood restaurant in the 6th world. I need that orc out of my way, and with a couple of shellfish... Right, so what would it take for him to wind up with a couple of shrimp in his meal tonight? Wait, what? He balks at your suggestion. After a moment's recovery, he looks right at you, nostrils flared. You can't possibly be saying what I think you are. You want me to poison a diner? You're deranged. I'm calling security. Haven't you noticed the lack of guards tonight? I have no doubt Wu Jing's aware that I'm here. It's as if they want a certain someone out of the way. Are you going to disappoint them? The chef nervously wrings his towel behind his hands, stares at the sumptuous plates of food waiting to be eaten, a glance over his shoulders, a shake of his head, and he smiles, a small, wry thing. You know, he never appreciated our cuisine, our art. I think a special thanks is in order. See yourself out, won't you? Okay, so that's good. We're all set up. I'm going to stop right here. The conflagration of combat will be in the next episode. I'll see y'all later. Hi, do everybody. This is Shadowrun Hong Kong. Check it out down below.